have so much going on in my life. Some people know, but I'm real private about my life. Like, I don't like people to know nothing about me. Like, I really don't. Like, I like to stay mysterious. But I'm here to bring awareness to a disease. I don't know why they call it a disease. It used to be called Wilkie's disease, Wilkie's syndrome. But my daughter has Superior Mesenteric Artery Syndrome, which is a rare but life-threatening disease that can eventually cause death. If not treated, when it comes to Superior Mesenteric Artery Syndrome, which the doctors use SMA for short, um, it is so rare. Like, you have to really um, find a doctor who gives a damn, especially if you're black. Like, I just want to raise awareness that if your child is complaining of pain all the time in their stomach, um, if they throw up a lot, if they losing weight, these are some of the signs and symptoms. Like, my daughter can't physically stand longer than 10 minutes. My daughter can't sit longer than maybe an hour, and I really think an hour is pushing it, if I'm being honest. So of course the drive from where we live to back to Florida is a lot on her. Um, the disease is so rare, like, it's so rare. I literally had to come from one state to another state where I do not reside to seek medical attention for my child. And immediately, when they saw her ultrasound, they saw her CT scan, and her upper GI, because they have to order her upper GI, where they do contrast. They immediately was like, "Oh, this is SMA," but we didn't do it. We didn't do the upper GI CT scan or the ultrasound, so we want to be sure. So we want to do our own test. Cool, please, please. So they ended up doing their own test, and come to find out, she has it. Like, they literally saw the images from the other doctor. They saw all the images because I brought all the discs. Like, I'm a well prepared mother, so I got everything that was needed. Now, prior to me knowing that she had Superior Mesenteric Artery Syndrome, we saw two doctors in the state that we currently reside. But this particular doctor, I needed to get her in fast because I'm tired of going to the hospital. And I know for a fact the hospital is, honestly, the hospital is there to treat emergencies only. To them, this is not considered as an emergency. Okay, that's fine. They just want to, get you in, get you out. Cool. So we established care at this prestige gastroenterologist, and we got the most pristine doctor. The top doctor. He ain't so damn top now. He ended up seeing my child, and before he can do any tests, y'all, this man never ran no tests at all. Before he can do any tests, he saw her. He read the notes that I sent to him from Florida, and he was like, "Oh, we're just gonna prescribe her some omeprazole, and we're just gonna prescribe her boom, boom, boom." And I'm like, "That's it? Like, this child is throwing up every day. She's in pain every day. Like, that's it? Okay." Then his nurse was like, "Well, if she's still in pain, mom, let's just give it about a week or two." A week to do what? To throw up her guts every day? So after about 3 days, I emailed her, and I was like, "My child is still doing XYZ. What you prescribed ain't working. It's not working. Like, it's not. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the endoscopy. Let's try to do an endoscopy." So she ended up contacting me back the next day and was like, "Dr. XYZ decided that he's going to go ahead and do the endoscopy." Okay, cool. You do the endoscopy. So now we can find out what is actually going on with my child, right? With my children, we only see us. Like, I'm real selective about who my children see as a doctor, as a dentist, as a I can't think of what it's called, but like I'm very selective. I pick and choose, because my children's care is in your hands. So we ended up doing the endoscopy. Long story short, he come back and say basically there's nothing there, there's no redness, no swelling. Now he needs to go to school. Well, guess what? Now you can't go to school because now you can't even walk. Okay, now you can't even stand up for longer than 10 minutes. Okay, so I ended up just going off on them. They ended up extending my FMLA because I harassed them like every day. And then I sent a nasty, not so nice email. Like I was a bitch in the email that I sent. Nobody want to answer the phone. Oh, I'm gonna email you. You gave me an email. I'm gonna email you. So he ended up calling me, apologizing. Oh, I'm so sorry. There's so many tests, Mom, that we can do. I gotta get my hands on Niah. I gotta get my hands on Niah. I gotta reach out and touch her. Okay. So like I said, mind you, y'all, he kept apologizing and saying it's so many tests that he can do. Child, we go in. So we end up going into the office. First of all, you don't make me wait an hour to see you. And for you to tell me absolutely nothing. Because that's not what you said over the phone. You said there are plenty of tests that you can do. This man we ended up going into his office for him to tell me nothing. Okay, I drove an hour to go and see him for him to tell me there's nothing wrong with her. They kept trying to prescribe my child so much medicine. They even prescribed her promethazine. I'm not giving her that. Like, don't they rap about that in the song? Like, promethazine. But I don't know how the song go, but needless to say, they prescribed her like 5 different medications. None worked. One made her eat. It was a green minty pill that made her eat. So she started gaining her weight back a little bit, but then she was losing it again. Then they were just like, tonight's just having functional pain. A lot of teens experience this. She may have anxiety and depression. No, that's not it. She was like, oh, a lot of our teens, they have to see a psychologist, bitch. So what are you saying? What are you implying now? Because it sounds like you're implying that my child is crazy. You're implying that she's lying. You girl. So anyway, needless to say, we ended up seeing another doctor at another practice, and immediately I was like, I don't want to hear nothing about no goddamn functional pain. If you say anything about goddamn functional pain, I'm walking out. I said, what we gonna do? Because I'm not leaving this doctor's office until you do something. You gonna give me a test. So we ended up doing the ultrasound. Um, I didn't get the results from the doctor that actually ordered the ultrasound. The doctor that actually was bull jiving with me and my kid, he ended up calling me to apologize because I left a nasty review. Like, I'm not gonna be nice to you if you trying to play games in my face. I don't care. You gonna do your job, and I'm gonna make you do your job. But needless to say, he called me. He was apologizing. I made him apologize to my daughter. I put her on the phone. You gonna apologize to her too. And so he was like, I've been thinking maybe I should order a CT scan. So he went in the system and he saw that we had an ultrasound. This man read me. The ultrasound was like, oh, Mom, we see something on her ultrasound. We need to, yeah. And then after he said we see something on her ultrasound, he was like, so what made you go see another doctor? I said, well, I don't like you. You haven't done your job. Like, I literally said, I don't like you. Like, I don't. I'm not too fond of you. And I said, to be honest, I don't like the other doctor either. Like, I don't like neither one of y'all. You're worse, but at least he did something, you know? So this man kept this other doctor from reaching out to me. Like, he kept him from reaching out to me. Doctors actually talk. These two doctors know each other. They work in the same hospital. They do the same exact work. They know each other. Like, come on now. So I feel like he called him to let him know, like, hey, there is something on Denia's ultrasound, and so you don't get a medical malpractice lawsuit. I want you to read her the results, and I want you to finish her care, right? And we ended up getting a CT scan. Now, this is how I found out about SMA. Now, mind you, on the ultrasound, these they sent two people in the room to say, "Hey, Niah, are you in pain? You should be in pain right now. Like, are you in pain?" And she's like, "Yeah, it hurts right there." And they were like, "Okay." As we were about to leave, they ran us down. It was like, "Oh no, come back." The doctor was like, the doctor that actually reviews the radiologist, but is also a doctor. He reviewed it and was like, "Oh, we see something. We need more images." So they sent somebody else. And then we ended up, doing a CT scan like a week later. And they too seen something on the CT scan, which is where SMA come from, Superior Mesenteric Artery Syndrome. So after the CT scan, he called and was like, "Hey, my radiologist ended up saying that she sees that she may have SMA, Superior Mesenteric Artery Syndrome, and I'm gonna just talk to her to see if I should go ahead and order a upper GI." First of all, aren't you a doctor? But okay. So he ended up calling me back and was like, "Yeah, we gotta have a upper GI." So we ended up doing the upper GI series where um they seen SMA. Like, it was always, "Oh, I see something, I see something," but it's never, "Oh, well, this is what it is." So after the upper GI, we ended up having a visit with him. So I drive again another hour to see him. So we get to the office. Like, I had to pray to God, you know, before I go in, because I know that I'm very passionate when it comes to what I love and care about, and my children are somebody that I'm an advocate for. So we get there, and he says it's nothing wrong with her. Now, mind you, she had a ultrasound, she had a CT scan, and an upper GI, right? So I just I got tired of it, and I was just like, "You know what?" I was like, "I'm leaving. I don't want to be in here with you anymore." And he was like, "You're leaving? What?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm leaving. Like, I'm over it." And I walked out. Now, prior to me walking out, he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna prescribe her an antidepressant." Bitch. So, upon my research, I decided that I no longer want to be in the state that I'm at for care for my child. Now, by this time, my child cannot physically go to school anymore. Now, this has been since August. My child has been to school August, but she only went to school for like 3 weeks, if that. And I think 3 weeks is pushing it. But needless to say, I did have to pick her up one day. Like, it was like, "Your child is in here nonstop throwing up. Like, you need to come and get her." And she never went back. Like, she couldn't go back physically. So she has a teacher nurse that comes to my house 2 days out the week to give her work and sit down with her for 2 hours. And now we're seeing doctors here in Florida, and we are now awaiting surgery. Our